Hey guys, and welcome to this E.T.C replay commentary. This is a game I played yesterday, so it's still pretty present in my mind. We're going to skip over the Hot Slogs and Master League comparisons today because E.T.C is a hero that has been in Heroes of the Storm since its established release, and we probably have seen most of him throughout history. Like, he is one of the most stable tanks in the game. What I'm gonna do is look at my win rate with him in Hero League, and as you can see, I have to scroll down quite a bit. There he is with 44% win rate, 15 wins and 19 losses, 34 games lifetime. He definitely is not my strongest hero, but he's just very stable, and as you can see, my other tanks have brought me up quite a bit at 55% win rate. So overall, not too bad, and we're going to jump into this replay, which is going to be very interesting because I made a bunch of mistakes, as the tank role is not my strong suit. So let's go. So jumping into this game, we can see the drafts real quick. On the blue side, we have Nazebo, Alex Strasser, Anubarak, Blaze, and Falstad. So interesting pick choices against what we're having. One thing that you have to be taken care of is looking at Nazebo. He's going to dominate the late game, which we're going to get into this game. And then Alex Strasser is going to be a focus of mine, trying to boop out people out of her W. We are playing with Vala, E.T.C, Samuro, Liming, and Stukov. So we have only one frontliner, but the enemy team has two of them. And that's going to be also one of the things that's going to happen to us quite a bit. We're going to go into my vision, as always, for these replay commentaries to give you an exact show of what I was doing during the game. On level 1, you have the chance to go for different talents here. Guitar Hero is as well as viable as Block Party. Block Party in this game, I wasn't sure if I would want to take it. Nazebo's auto attacks do a lot of damage late game, and Falstad, after he's stacked Marksman, is also pretty good. But Progrock is so easy to take now because of the globe changes. It's very simple to get the 20 globes necessary, so I wanted to have that extra healing from that. Typical mid-game lane fight. Nothing too much surprising. Here again, I'm gonna go in and just soak a little bit of damage, but also get the globe for everybody. And then I'm gonna already rotate down because we have secured the middle. My team still fights a little bit, but our rotation, Liming and mine, is pretty good. We're getting the mobs here, and then we can also pretty much get easy XP deny for the enemy because we're rotating up here now. And look what where I'm going now. So I'm here mounting up, and now Alex Strasser is out of position. There's no way that for her to move down here the way that she wants to do. So she's also trying to stack, and then she did another step forward. Or she actually doesn't even want to stack. Like, I don't know why she used her E, because she was mounted. And now that I'm mounted, I have actually an advantage. I'm using Power Slide, and then using my Face Melt to my W to secure the kill. This is something that you can do with E.T.C quite a bit, and as we get more kills with the resets from Liming, you can prepare a lot of the kills for your team. Important thing is that your face melt obviously knocks people away, so if your team is using area of effect spells, you want to be careful and not poke people away from situations. Again, here I'm gonna try to get the gank. I didn't use my W in time and then also miss my Q, so that gank is over. And now something starts that is actually pretty bad for us. Our Zamuro is going for camps. So generally speaking, this is pretty good, but what I'm doing here now is going to be very, very silly. So I'm up here now, and I'm contesting the shrine. And I'm contesting it, and I'm not very worried about the auto attacks, but where I should be standing is here. Obviously he could still auto-attack me there, but he doesn't do a lot of damage with auto-attacks, and if he doesn't use his spells, he's not going to burn me down quite quickly. But what happens is that I'm actually losing out on XP here. So if we zoom out a little bit and continue, see these minions dying here? Nobody gets XP for them. Like, I'm not getting any XP for these. And I realize that, so I'm trying to get on top of him, but it doesn't really help me, and I'm just contesting the shrine because I'm thinking, hey, the Samuro is going to clear this camp very quickly. As you can see, it's not very quick. So he's gonna come back and we're gonna gank this dude. So now I'm a little bit in a better position, but now he also burns me, so I have to be a little bit careful. And then again, miss 2 minions here. So I'm actually losing XP if I'm not standing directly on the bottom of the shrine. So me contesting this is actually pretty stupid. Also, I'm not communicating with my team that I need help. I should be pinging here for assistance, because the Zamuro now cleared this camp, and I'm like, hey, cool, he's coming, but he's actually moving on to get this camp. So I'm just standing here, not doing anything, like, and I'm just stupid. I'm burning my mana, I'm not getting anything else done. And this also comes down, now that the camp is here, he's moving away, which is smart. But what I've missed like probably like 4 or 5 globes here, and I also didn't provide my team with anything. Good stun combo by them, but I'm not very scared by them attacking me here. I still have a tap up, so I'm going to do that. And try to still be in this lane. So the thing is that if I was more experienced with E.T.C, I would have known my limits much better, so I would have done or reacted differently. I want to gank here, but the Li Ming actually moved away and then I missed my Q, so we completely fucked that up, basically. And the issue with the camp top was that while they take ages now to clean it up, because they also sent 2 heroes that haven't gotten the most useful wave clear against these guys. Blaze is pretty okay as a solo lane, but he's not amazing. And I'm also fucking this up, so I wanted to get the control of the shrine, and I could have probably done it if I used my spells correctly, but I can't get it. Now I'm in a super position, I move a little bit further down, so I should be getting the XP here. Now I see Falset coming in, and I can just escape. This is really important. You shouldn't use your Q very liberally to just do something. It's really important that you have it up to escape, but also to engage. And it's really important that you don't use it just to like do some damage to somebody. Like here I'm actually just like trying to poke him down a little bit, but now I also know I don't have any escape, so I'm running away much earlier. As you can see, I walked out of range. And I'm contemplating here if I can stop them doing something here. And now I actually have the problem that I have a lot. I don't know how much mana I have. So me going in there actually caused an issue, because my fail smelt cost me my last bit of mana, so I couldn't queue out. I think here the Dragon Knight actually prevented Stukov from dying, so that's pretty good. But even though we had a good early game lead, we now gave that away. Our XP lead is gone. And when I picked E.T.C, I picked him as a sole warrior. We actually were missing basically a warrior and something else. And as we had Samura, everybody was assuming that he was going to be solo laning. But realistically, he actually wasn't doing that at all. So I took that duty on. And E.T.C with level 7 is actually pretty okay. Echo Pedal is the most normal talent to go if you have to do some laning duty, because it gives you basically wave clear. That's what you can call it. It's an AoE that pulses twice after you use an ability, and it just helps you wave clear a lot. On 4, people nowadays always take loudspeakers. It's probably the best talent for him on this level, for the simple reason that his W is super annoying. And while I'm talking about that, I'm gonna pause it because something funny is gonna happen here. So loudspeakers is definitely super annoying. Crowd surfer can be used when you have lots of obstacles to glide over, especially if you're a more dedicated solo laner, because you pick the E.T.C like that. Like if you pick it with stage dive, it can be powerful. And then speed metal, the movement speed for 2 seconds is okay, but loudspeakers is just a much stronger talent on level 4. So I'm dueling here against the Falstad, and I'm trying to bait him into taking some damage from the towers, because his minion wave is pushed a lot here. So I'm trying to dodge his Q here, and I'm tapping now. So what I'm trying to do is like just dwindle him down, because he's definitely greedy. And now I'm a little panicking, but he does exactly what I wanted him to do, which is go in here, and his minion wave is dying, and as you can see, he just dies there. So while I had a little bit of luck there, on the amount of damage that I took. I definitely wanted to bait him in the towers because his minion wave was so small and fragile. And early game, the towers like really wreck you, so you have to be very careful. This is the new change as well from the patch that released Maiev. The mage minion now has a separate health bar, so you can spot it more easily. I think that's fine. Makes it a little easier. So yeah, my laning duty continues here, and don't worry, it's not going to be the whole game me being top lane. There's going to be some interesting situations, but I've already explained a couple of things that I should have made happen. And I didn't play that solo lane very well here with my E.T.C. My Li Ming showed, and here's the exact thing that I meant. If I had face melt, I wouldn't have used it there because you want to stop, or you want to prevent using an ability that would basically get people out of Li Ming's AoE. Here you can see very well how you can peel for your team by using your W, using your your W and your Q, that's where it is, to prevent people from attacking your allies. So I peeled off the enemy's first Stukov, and then you get the cool 3-man mosh pit. Unfortunately, we don't do a lot of damage here, so I'm dying, but if we're gonna go back here for a second, it's actually pretty good engagement. So it's gonna go a little bit further. So, we're gonna see in this fight here now, our Stukov is low and we lost the Li Ming, but everything else is here. And they used Dragon and the Dragon has now ended. So, as you can see, the Mighty Gust is actually also in cooldown because you used it on us earlier. So this mosh pit is actually perfect because it captures the Firebat, Blaze, Anubarak, and even Alexstrasza. So these two heroes are the only ones at the moment that can interrupt me. The Nazeebo can't interrupt me. Falset already used his Mighty Gust. So hitting both of them is really important. Unfortunately, my Vala decides to attack two targets that are completely useless for her. She should have gone on either the Nazeebo coming down from here or clearly on the Alexstrasza, but she didn't, and you know, sometimes it just happens. Obviously it was also 4 versus 5 and we actually got quite a bit of a brawl out of it, so it wasn't that bad. Unfortunately for us, the Falset now flew bottom, so now we have to be aware of the dragon. Engagement wise, it was pretty good. I stunned both of the main tanks, and then also with the follow-up on the mosh pit, I basically secured my team to be able to just, you know, attack the enemies, and hopefully actually we would have gotten a kill, but it didn't happen. I was contemplating also about going Sage Dive because I was so much in top lane, but then as they used Gust so deliberately there without actually getting any, like, not any value, but like very little value, I was like, these guys are very trigger happy on their heroics, so Sage Dive might be good for positioning and everything, but I think I'm going to be happier if I can just try to knock back people. Here I try to get the Alexstrasza out of the heal circle, but didn't work out completely, but still me poking her around actually focused all of her attention on to surviving, so that was pretty good. Can have a look, another look at that fight. That's the wrong button, there you go. So there are 3 people here. I'm also on pretty low health, but as you can see, my E actually heals me quite a bit, and I get 20 armor. So can I not click on the hero actually? I can't. How do I? Interesting. Can I do this now with this? No. So I guess in the observer you can't use the new target panel yet. But basically I get armor. They stun me. But I'm not really afraid of being stunned. Also, we just reached 13, so I'm getting mic check. If I'm hitting at least 2 targets with face melt, the cooldown is reduced by 6 seconds. So instead of 10 seconds, I have 4-second cooldown on face melt when I hit 2, and I hit 2 here. So now I see my Li Ming is coming in, and she will do a lot of damage to the heroes. So I'm going back in, and then as you can see, I'm actually, my auto attacks do nearly 170 damage to E.T.C. She got hit 1, 2, 3 times. Now I knock her back too early. But she's so focused on not dying and not dying to me that she actually then dies to basically the attacks of Li Ming. Our Sumuro comes in, and then we just clean up house. But that's pretty much what you can do as E.T.C. You bring a lot of chaos into the enemy lines, and especially if you can get into the backline, you do a lot of damage to squishies that don't expect you to do that. So just keep that in mind. You actually do quite a bit of damage. You hit, you know, pretty hard for a tank, and then obviously with Echo Pedal, my AoE damage also affects the enemy heroes. Thoughts that denied our temple bottom, so I'm pinging that we should be getting it, so we can get the objective. And then what I'm gonna do now here is just interrupt him, knock him back so he can't use his E, and then he can't go on the shrine and contest it anymore. So we get a Dragonite. The only downside to this Dragonite is that our healer is in the night, so that's a little bit unfortunate. And I'm gonna join the team now because we're in the mid game now, and we want to fight and want to get an advantage out of the Dragonite. Again, face check here. Sorry, face melt here on 2 people with mic check, so I get cooldown reduction. And again, the Mighty Gust comes out, so this again makes me, well, put me in a pretty good position where I can hopefully find a good mosh pit, and I'm looking for it. As you can see, I'm circling around trying to find a good mosh pit. And you never should be afraid to use mosh pit on only one target, because if you get the burst damage on this target, it's totally worth to use one heroic on it. So now also the Anub'arak uses E, and my stuns come back in 2 seconds. So I'm definitely looking for a mosh pit here. And I get interrupted, unfortunately, by the E.T.C. So that was very good. I wanted to go in there. As you can see, my mosh pit is on cooldown. But the good thing is she interrupted me before it started, so I don't get the full cooldown. I only got it on 9 seconds, and then therefore I can still be a threat now. And as you can see, we have basically fought our way through the early and mid game, and we're now pretty much ahead 2 levels and a talent. So I'm happy to play a little bit more aggressive here. I also know that the Father doesn't have Gust here, so there you go. My team here, I don't know what happened. I actually want to look into this. Let's have a here and then zoom out and then jump back. So the Forza is gonna go face check the bush, which is very, very bad. And then he also walks into here where he can clearly see there's at least 2 or 3 enemies, which is completely wrong because both of his tanks are sorry, up here. So he just gets deleted. And then so I get a great engagement up here. Okay. So everybody is waiting for, not everybody, but 3 people are waiting for the Nazeebo to come out of stasis. Well, we have like a 3-man mosh pit up here. So I was wondering why the mosh pit didn't get us anything, but you know, now I understand. Still, pretty good mosh pit. Stunned 3 people, basically out of the 4 people alive. We got 2 people from that. And again, it's easy to engage into these guys because Anub'arak and Blaze always stand together. And then Falzad used his Gust early. So that means that for me, there's no risk of getting my mosh interrupted unless the dragon is out, as you saw earlier when she interrupted me with the wing buffet or whatever it's called. My team is getting attacked, and I probably should have not tried to take the camp with the Samuro. I probably would have been okay just helping my team. That being said, I set up another kill here against the Falza, do a lot of damage against him. And now I'm trying to basically peel for my Stukov, and it worked, and we still get a kill on the other side, because their tanks are focusing too much on trying to get a kill, which honestly is one of the reasons that I'm also not a very good tank. Great interrupt here on me from the Anub'arak. I don't get the full stun, I don't slide through him, so I can't get The follow-up, that being said, also was out of mana. So the combo of, power slide into him and then face melt him back didn't work because I didn't have mana, but also because he interrupted me. My pet peeve is back. I'm destroying the walls. Always destroy the walls. They give just unnecessary vision to the enemies. So whenever you can, destroy them. My team is pushing too hard forward here. As you can see in the bottom left in the minimap, Li Ming and Stukov are still going forward. When we could secure a Dragon Knight here very easily. Now the enemy has the same talent here, so we're a little bit screwed because they just got an advantage out of this. And now we can see that there's a fight going on top. Unfortunately for us, the Blade Storm didn't get us everything. And this time I get the perfect mosh. 3 enemies. We get a kill out of this. I'm using... I think I used Face Melt here to get all the bugs away from Anub'arak that were running around here. But that was basically a very good mosh. For the simple reason that I got everybody who could interrupt me in that mosh. And that made it very difficult for them. So I'm here now thinking about like fighting and joining, but we have Dragon up and everything. Well, Alexstrasza's Dragon up, so I'm actually want to get the Dragon. And as you can see, the little archer here, I don't even know what's happening to me. Little archer interrupts me twice, and then I nearly miss the Dragon because actually Blaze is also coming. I lost my Samuro here, so my move wasn't the best. And my team is fighting here as well. So again, Gust is out. I know that. I kicked Blaze over here because I think it's a very good way to kill him, as the fork will attack him. Unfortunately for us, we are pretty much out of position in the middle of nowhere here, which is a little bit because of the way that I went to the Dragon instead of staying with the team. I still think from like looking back at it now that it's the correct decision to take the objective because it gives us level 20 much earlier. But you can definitely argue that as the only frontliner and main tank, I probably should have stayed with them, even if I disagreed with fighting there. So I don't want to go over the Bridge of Death because it's just such a stupid way to lose any momentum. That being said, because of the if you look at the amount of minions we have here, it would have been smarter to go there. The way that I went is actually pretty stupid because I didn't have a minion wave to go with me, so I only get a tower here. It's still pretty okay XP, and then obviously it opens up the mid, but it's not very effective. That being said, we also didn't have that much time on the Dragon left. Let's have a quick look at the 16 and 20 talents. On 16, all of them are pretty much viable. Aggressive shredding is also especially powerful if you go for hammer on or for not Pimple Wizard, not that necessarily, but hammer on is definitely going to be pretty powerful with this because obviously the more you have Gita Solo, the more auto attacks with more damage you will get, and then also obviously basic attacks heal during Gita Hero. So if you have more Gita Hero up, then you just get more heal from that. It's also definitely viable. I went for Showstopper because I'm the only frontliner, and I was a little worried that they might be bursting me down. On level 20, you have I think one of the greatest varieties on level 20 talents. The Storm talents on E.T.C are really, really good. Turbos would have been great. Basically, you can power slide during mosh pit, so you have a longer mosh pit because it increases its duration, but it also gives you a way to fake out mosh pits where you mosh pit somewhere and they're like, oh lol, that he used it wrong, and then you just pause that into them. So it's really, really strong. Crowd Pleaser actually also very good. If you have stage dive, this will give you a huge area where everybody is slowed, and then you get a cooldown reduction as well. Death Metal is the typical go-to if you have a game where you have been dying a lot, or at least were close to dying quite a bit, and it was always where you were in 5 heroes and they would always focus you down. This is great. You die and then you have a mosh pit. This can honestly change games, and you can win a game off Death Metal alone. I went for Storm Shield in this game because I felt that we would have issues with Nazeebo later on. I felt that we would go longer in this game. We didn't have any decisive push going on throughout the game. We just like trickled down the forts, but as you can see, the keep walls are all still pretty healthy. Still have a tower up, even though we're like 60 minutes in and we have had a talent advantage pretty much throughout the game. So I felt this would be good to support my team. Also, obviously, Bolt of the Storm, you know, a blink, short distance teleport, definitely very, very strong. So I'm here looking for a fight because we're level 20. And now I'm Goku'd. I'm pinging it so that my Samuro can get me out. Very well done by him. And now I'm using Mosh Pit again, and this time the Gust wasn't on cooldown, so it's a little bit unfortunate for us. And I honestly, I think misplayed this because I should have known that it wasn't on cooldown. Here I use my face mail to get another kill, and honestly, in this situation, we now need to get a kill. So we're pinging it, and I'm tanking the tower. The issue is our minion wave is pretty small. It's only, I think, 2 waves, and their Nazeebo is obviously a great killer of minion waves. And I'm taking quite a bit of damage. I use Storm Shield here to just like take some damage off of myself and also from the fort. Here you saw me using Face Melt in this way was because I wanted to get a cooldown reduction. Which is actually super because, as you can see here, if I didn't use it just for the sake of using it, I probably would have been able to kill the Nazeebo here because we would have gotten a knockback on him. This is also one of the issues that I have as a tank. I'm oftentimes the person that draws back first, and while that is, I think, a good trait to get out of battles easily, I oftentimes leave my teammates behind, and I think as a main tank you probably want to stay with the team. You just saw me using here my guitar solo because I have proc rock done, so I'm healing everybody when I'm using it. Another good engage here. We're before level 20. We want to fight. We want to get as much advantage as we can. So we take this camp here. Good decision making. I missed the power slide here. The Falsa did a great job running away. Our Spook-Off saves everybody. Again, using Storm Shield. And I'm looking for too hard for Mosh Pit here. And this time, I wanted him to cancel it. So we go back. I know that Gus is up again. So as you can see, I'm looking for a Mosh, I'm looking for a Mosh, I'm looking for the Mosh. But I'm gonna miss my Q here. Actually, I didn't miss it, so that was completely my mistake because I could have just moshed right now. But I'm afraid of the Gust, so I hit Mosh Pit now and Gust. The good thing is that it basically baited the Gust out, so I still have my Mosh up. But now that I see the replay, when I was playing live, I thought I missed the Q on Falsat, and then I definitely still wanted to do the Mosh because I wanted him to use his Gust to disrupt it. Unfortunately, the fight didn't give us anything. We didn't even get any pressure from the camp, and therefore they also got level 20. So, little unfortunate for us. Again, he's coming here. I'm a little more worried now because where he is, probably everybody else is, but I'm actually pretty okay. Here, I thought everybody was there, and that's just it. Like, I don't have that much experience again on E.T.C, and you saw it here. I think the Mosh Pit was great, but obviously nobody was following up on it. So me using it was probably a big waste because you know, you could have gotten something out of it. That being said, our Zamuro has been great throughout the game to go onto Alex and just like kill her. Like, it's so annoying for her to play against this. She can't self-heal her, and she can't just wait for the circle to finish up. I'm worried here that the Falsat can actually just walk over, so I'm pinging very furiously. But we can see him all the time, so it's actually very unlikely that Anubarak is going to go there. Now we see both of them on the map, so it's actually not critical at all. So I'm a little too panicky here. Let's have a quick look. I only died 2 times so far, which is pretty okay. Like, even though I wasn't solo lane so much, I didn't even have the most XP in my team. So that's something. If you want to look at the talents of the other heroes, you can find them. As you can see, most quests have been done by now. Especially important, the Nazeebo just finished his Violent Faction. So we're gonna have a hard time now. You will see that actually finishing the game. So we all agreed here with pings that we would go core. Unfortunately, our Zamuro wanted to push in top. So before we start the fight here, important to note that pushing top here as a Zamuro actually is the wrong call. For the simple reason that top will not give us anything. Top lane is the most unimportant lane on Dragonshire. So even if we get to keep top, sure there's catapult pressure that will actually have a big impact later on. But in this situation, it's much better. We have the map objective. Don't be a loner. Like, just join the team, because at this point we normally would be able to finish the game. I missed my Q here. Also, pretty bad use of it actually, because it was very unlikely that we would get anything. I also just W'd Blaze into my team, so he actually has an easier time focusing them. Now I'm panicking because I feel like we want to get onto the core. So I'm doing something that happens to me quite a bit when I play a hero that I've not had too much experience with. I just press all the buttons all the time, and I'm not actually getting anything done. As you can see, I tank the core, I tank all of their damage, and I actually don't get anything done. The Gust, luckily for us, only hits 1 target, and we actually kill 2 people here, because my team is awesome. But we lose 4 in the end. So this is something that I just have to get better throughout my hero roster. If I don't have the experience on a hero, I oftentimes tend to just panic and then just like mash buttons and hope everything's gonna be working well. So that's also something that you can take away for yourself, is that you don't want to be in a situation where you just do something for the sake of doing something. If I didn't use my Q early and miss it completely and actually wait for a good engage, I could have gotten off another good mosh pit that could have actually saved us the game. Or not saved the game, but like it would have like given us the game. So I saw through the Fog of War, which is a bug, that they were doing it. You obviously shouldn't be seeing that stuff. So I pinged it, and then... So this Q that I used here, also completely useless, because there was no chance in any way that I could catch it with that. So just like sloppy play, and I'm getting nervous now because it's late game, and I'm worried that the Nazeebo will just carry the game away from us. One issue that we have with, and again, missed Q, that being said, this one was just good reaction by the Falstad, rolling into a different direction than I was queuing. So we're trying to get an okay wave together here with a catapult, and another catapult coming in like 15 seconds later, but realistically we are now at a point in the game where we struggle a bit because our wave clear, while it's okay, doesn't give us any pressure anymore because their wave clear has peaked. Falstad has huge amounts of stacks. Nazeebo obviously clears a wave very quickly, and then Blaze and Anubarak also have all of their talents now, so we basically have they have great wave clear. Here, this is now a situation where I should be focusing on the Falstad. You just eat in, and I just peel. That's all I'm doing. Again, this is completely fine. Using the mosh pit on one hero is completely worth it. And now we're focusing on the wrong target here, because he can escape, and we probably should have gone somewhere else. I'm also making another mistake here. I'm using my W for no reason. If I walk up here into the circle and then W, none of these guys get any heals. So now they just walk back down and get basically half health back and a globe. Here I'm killing my Li Ming. I apologize later on, but I basically just literally killed her here. Because I face mailed him into her, and his what is it called? His combustion, exactly. His combustion just kills her. I get away, but we have to lick our wounds. We killed one. They also got a kill. Good thing for us, we killed their global hero, so it is a little more tolerable. That being said, we played very badly, and I played very badly there as well. I feel like this is a situation where my team doesn't want to engage, while I personally think we actually have a great engagement, because we have 3 targets here, and we're all here together as 4, and we can see the Anubarak on the shrine. So I thought that engaging would have been a good idea. Unfortunately for us, we don't agree on that, and then we just lose that engagement. So I'm worried here about Falzet flying up, so I'm leaving. Our Samuro is just juking people, so he's getting away. And now we're just too worried about getting the dragon. We're focusing on it quite a bit, like all over the place. And the Samuro, on the other hand, I think does the right thing. He tries to get the easy targets here. Good ice block. Unfortunately, we lose our Stukov, and then the heal is just too much for us here, and we actually die. Pretty good play by their Alex Strasser, who yeah, basically saved their whole team with good use of heroics as well as the dragon. Very well played. I was too focused on killing the Nazeebo, and again just pressed buttons for the button pressing sake. Here's what I'm looking at. I'm trying to see if we can hopefully get some damage on the core. Obviously it's already at 48%, so we have the hope of catapult pressure surprising them, but at the moment that doesn't happen. Our Li Ming on the bottom actually is doing a great job interrupting the Nazeebo. He can't get the circle, the shrine, from her. And the Nubarak is doing the correct thing. He's getting the mid 4 here, trying to get some easier approach to a keep wall, because as you can see we still have all our forts standing until this moment in time, which means that even with the dragon that they're gonna get here now, they still have to go through most of the forts. Very dangerous here for what Li Ming was doing. She gets healed by the Stukov, but he also saves her, so you know, there's no harm done. Now it's important that we're gonna defend behind the fort and at the keep, and not before. Li Ming is pretty healthy, so she can, sorry, not healthy, pretty safe, because she has a teleport. So it's fine for her to poke in front of the wall, but everybody else should be standing behind, like Mala is doing. So this is very good defense. Use of Storm Shield is also good, where everybody gets a big shield. We negate some damage. And as you can see, I'm playing a little bit more carefully now, because I'm worried about them getting a keep by just me dying. I denied the globe here and the heal. And this is just, again, stupid use of my Q, because I'm trying to get in front of everybody or to find an engagement. But using my Q here literally gives me nothing. The Nazeebo is showing on the bottom lane, so I wanted to engage here because I felt that we would have a good time engaging into them because their damage is missing. But as you can see, he's already here. This is probably a mistake by the Stukov. He's scared that we're gonna lose somebody here from the engage, but I think if he doesn't slap him away, doesn't slap the... Yeah, that's why Li Ming is pinging. If he doesn't slap the Blaze away, we probably kill him. Again, I'm using Guitar Solo as much as possible here. I have the focus here on the Alex Strasser because I feel like she's an easy target here now. But then I'm actually doing a pretty good decision here, move back. Don't want to be singled out. and I want to be more team-oriented. So this was pretty good. Pulled back. I probably could have put more pressure on her if I was more experienced with what she was, what my character is capable of. But overall, I'm pretty happy with me just walking away there. It's not necessary to do anything else. As you can see, this game is going pretty long and pretty far forward. I'm just gonna check here. This is something that you can do with E.T.C pretty well. Face checking is kind of okay with him. Obviously, the tank should always go first anyway. But due to his Q being a great escape, and I'm getting also armor from the Q, and have a heal and storm shield, I'm actually pretty okay. So this is obviously very dangerous for us to go in here. It's a close encounter, close corners, and they have pretty good AoE damage, but we're doing it relatively quickly, and they miss most of their spells, so we're actually okay. But for us, fighting here is actually pretty okay, because we have the camp here, and I want to walk back into the aura. As you can see, the Nazeebo melts me quite a bit. So pushing with the Knights is a good idea, because it's one of the ways we can negate a bunch of their damage. Unfortunately for us, the Nazeebo just does so much damage with his spiders and everything else that and again, I used both of my spells for no reason. I'm very aware that they still have... Oh wow, I just didn't realize that. I think he just pushed the Anubarak out as well, right? Let's have a look. So our Zamura does a great thing again. He goes into the backline of them and forces them to be focused so much on healing. You see him on the left side here going in. He goes onto the backline completely. So their two frontliners are very much out of position, because the Alex is trying to getting everybody else healed. Okay, he wasn't in the thing. So a little unfortunate timing. My mosh pit doesn't do as much as I would have hoped. But now I'm again in a good position here. Face melt, peeling away from everybody. Good storm shield. I missed the W on the Anubarak, but we have another displacement. That's all good. Push him out of the healing, also good reaction. And as you can see, I'm pretty healthy still. The Stukov is also healing us up, so we're actually pretty okay. The dragon is giving them a lot of health. So my team said we should fall back in chat. So we just fell back and didn't engage into them. I personally thought that the dragon wasn't that big of a deal, and we probably could have engaged into them. But in the end, you should always listen to your teammates. So now I'm worried that they're gonna get the dragon, and this is the reason that I didn't want to back away from that fight, because they have a global. So them getting top shrine was very easy. Luckily for us, their Dragon Knight makes a mistake and just walks around aimlessly. There's an okay wave here, and I'm clearing it. Again, Echo Pedal helps me out quite a bit now. It does, 100 ticks, and then we're fine. Defending the top bridge is not that important, so I'm leaving it after I clear the mage camp. So they really want that keep. I saw that the Dragon Knight already used his kick, so I'm happy to go in here. Unfortunately, lose a little bit of too much of health. That being said, we defend this still very well. And now if you look at something, we have two catapults going on here in the bottom. So this is going to be very dangerous for the enemy team. So them being here and trying to get our keep is totally fine. But they have to get more than that if they are still fighting. As you can see, they get keep. This time I use my W correctly to get the Stukov, the Blaze away. I'm going back here because I'm not afraid that they're going to take the core here. I'm going to back, get a little bit of mana, get a little bit of health. Same goes for my Vala, he's going back. And her going back is also very smart, because then the pressure on Stukov is not as much. So now for us it's really good, because they have no idea what's going to happen to them. They take second keep, which is, for us, pretty bad. But, again, our bottom lane is arriving now at their core. Zamuru again doing a good job. Unfortunately, he dies for that. But now we know what's going on. We see that the shields are dropping, and my team is like, interrupt, 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 and I'm like, there's nothing to interrupt. So now, actually, there is something to interrupt. Falstad is flying, but there's 3 catapults shooting at the core, and there's GG. Overall, definitely a very close game, and we win it by, I want to say, a little bit of luck, because they don't pay too much attention and they have a global that should take care of this wave. That being said, 3 catapults did an enormous amount of damage in a very short time. Overall, I did a pretty okay job. As a solo tank, didn't die too often. 4 deaths is okay, I think. Took a lot of damage for my team. That's also obviously pretty good. And then I had a couple of engages where I definitely prepared a couple of kills for my team. Overall, E.T.C is probably the, I want to say, easiest tank to learn at the beginning, because you have the Q as an escape. If you are somebody who dies a lot with your warriors, it's probably a good way to play it, because you can escape much more easily with your power slide than, for example, with the Meridian E. The jumper Meridian can be interrupted. Obviously, power slide can be interrupted as well, but when you're jumping or when you're sliding, you actually stun everybody else. So it's more difficult for them to interrupt that, for example. Overall, he is a very fun hero as well, and he can be great if you want to have that one moment where you get the 5M mosh pit and just own house. As always, thank you very much for watching. We're going to be back next week, and I hope you enjoyed this episode, and still working on that drafting video. I have a couple of things to clear up, and then hopefully it will come this month. I can't promise anything. But again, as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.